Hi everyone, Andy here, and welcome back to the channel. When I first started using Notion, I didn't really know what I was doing. So I created pages in random locations, had no structure, and to be honest, everything was pretty chaotic. And when I was working on my own, that was fine. But then I started to bring on a team and it really didn't work. The team couldn't find the info they were looking for. I wasted ages on their behalf trying to find the right page, and they didn't know where to store information, so they kept asking me. The final straw came when I actually spent 20 minutes looking for a set of notes that I'd written just a week ago, and I thought I've had enough. So I spoke to other investors about how they organise their businesses, and I created a similar structure. I then set up my Notion Workspace around those same departments. Now, more recently, Notion have actually created their Teamspaces functionality, and that's made organising the workspace even easier. Now I know exactly where to keep information, and so do my team of 5, so that I no longer waste ages picking through Notion pages and helping those guys out. So I don't want you to go through the same hassle that I did, which is why today I'm going to show you how I structure my real estate business, and then I'm going to take you step by step through how to set this up in your own Notion workspace. Plus, at the end, I'm going to share with you a free template that you can download to get yourself started with your real estate business using Notion. So do you have any questions about Teamspaces or want to know more about how they work? Let me know in the comments below, but other than that, let's get going. So firstly, what are Notion Teamspaces? Well, think of them a little bit like a workspace within a workspace. Notion realised that as teams using Notion got bigger and bigger, it became harder and harder to organise information. And so what Teamspaces enables you to do is to create little pockets or areas that have their own homepage, they can have their own permissions, so information can be organised in the right way for that specific team space. For example, you might have one for sales, one for marketing, finance, etc. It's a great way to ensure that people just see the information that they need. So, for example, if you're in finance, maybe you need to know about upcoming projects, but you don't really care about the marketing. It just makes sure that people can arrange workspaces or the team spaces in a way that works for that specific team. It also helps to control permissions, so people only see what they need to, and you can have different types of team spaces, which I'll get to in a minute. So we know what team spaces are. So next up, let's have a quick chat about how to actually use them in Notion. So what I've got here is actually a screen share of my organisational structure for my real estate business, and you can see that I've broken it out into these different departments. So I've got sourcing, so that's finding properties, acquisitions, which is once you've found one, taking it through to purchase, funding, so that's about raising money from investors. Finance is the more day-to-day finance, so things like the balance sheet, the profit and loss, etc. Delivery, so that's how we actually go and manage refurbishments of projects, taking them through to completion. Team is a bit like HR, so that's dealing with any issues to do around the team. And lastly, I've got an administration area as well. And then under those, I've got various roles such as coordinators, managers, and directors. So if you sort of think about each of those as a different department within the business, I've gone and created team spaces for each of these various areas. And then each of the set of information related to them lives within each of those team spaces. So for example, within sourcing, our SOPs, so standard operating procedures, for how we find properties are in there. When we refurbish a project within delivery, that's all contained around our schedule of works, the costings, the budgeting lives in there. Information on various members of the team, that's stored within the team's team space. So you can see that this is a really logical, organised way to structure your real estate business, and then that's reflected across each of the various tools that I used in my business, including Notion. I really hope you're finding this video useful. If you are, do give it a thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, so let's take what we've just seen in the organizational chart, and I'll show you how I then go and apply that in Notion. So I'm currently in my Notion workspace here, and you can see that I've got each of the departments down the left-hand side. I have got an additional one actually, which is strategy, so that's around goals and KPIs, OKRs, etc. And I've got a team space for each of these various areas. So they've got their own homepage, so I've got the Teamspace homepage here. Sourcing, you can see that I've got the sourcing dashboard, so this has got our different navigation areas. Now this is a test workspace, so it's not fully fleshed out. And then I've got funding, finance, etc. So here are all the Teamspaces. Now if you want to see all of them, if they're not listed here, you can also go up to all Teamspaces here at the top. So if I click on that one, you can see them listed. We could search for them if there were lots and lots, and underneath them, as I've shown you, we've got the various pages. So let me show you first how to add a new Teamspace. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. Firstly, next to the Teamspace here, we've got the plus icon, or you can go to all Teamspaces and then new Teamspace here. So if I just go and click on new Teamspace, and this is going to be our acquisition Teamspace. So I'm just going to give it a name. Great, so we've got acquisition. We could always go and give it some form of description. So this is buying a properties. And we can also give it a logo. So if I just go in here, let's just quickly put in a house. Great, so there we go, choose a color. And then we can also go and set who's the Teamspace for. So if you've got different departments within Notion, and here you can see permissions. So let me go through these quickly. So firstly, we've got open, and the open permission means that anyone can see it and anyone can join that Teamspace. So that's visible, so you may have that for maybe the administration. Then we've got a closed Teamspace, and a closed one is that anyone can see it, but they can't join it unless they're invited. Then we've got a private Teamspace here, and actually only members who are part of it even know about its existence. So maybe there's a confidential project coming up and you don't want people to even know about its existence, or maybe it's to do with some delicate HR issues. So you can have a Teamspace where people don't even know it exists within the company. And then lastly, we've also got the default Teamspace. And for this one, everybody must be a member. And it sort of makes sure that you can't have an orphaned Teamspace where it exists but nobody's a member and nobody can add people in. So there's always a default Teamspace here as well. So if I just, let's leave this one as open, and I'm going to just go and create the Teamspace, let it do its thing. But from here, clearly part of Teamspaces, the clues in the name, is to work with other people. So you could go and invite other members of your workspace. So I'm going to leave that for the minute. So I'm just going to go skip. It will do its thing, and then I've now got this home page. And you'll notice that it hasn't appeared directly here on the left-hand side. So if I just go click 3 more, you can now see that it's at the bottom under acquisition. And if I go back to our normal sidebar, it's here down the bottom. And I can then just go and click and drag, and then I can go and move that up to wherever it sits. And you can see that these are ordered in the same order that I put in my departmental organizational chart. So you can see we've got sourcing, then we've got acquisition, funding, etc. So this is the default page that's created. And if I actually just go and click here, we can see that we've got some other areas as well underneath. So these are sort of like a template. So you could just go and delete these, get rid of them. So I could just go and literally, if I just open here, click the 3 dots and go delete. And then within acquisition, add a new page, and then just click new page. And you could start from scratch, or you can use some of the templates that Notion provides for you. And I could drag that to the top. And that's it in a nutshell. So Teamspaces are a really straightforward way to go and organize your Notion workspace according to your business. Of course, this doesn't apply to just apply to real estate. You could use it in any business, but I think that using it around the various departments of your business is a great way to start. And then you can always add some more temporary ones around perhaps specific projects or initiatives on a sort of more temporary basis. If you do want to archive them, just click the 3 dots and go archive Teamspace, or you can duplicate, etc. So that's that. I hope you found that useful. If you do want to know more about how I structure the other tools within my real estate business using the same structure, then check out this video here. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See ya.